The opening tournament was really enlightening. It definitely highlighted some areas that we could improve on, and also areas we were doing well. There was a defensive rotation that it turns out we needed a little bit greater emphasis on, and it hurt us in game one. And I think we corrected it from game one to game two. Offensively, I thought we played pretty well for most of game one. I'd say 3/4 of it, and then for a good chunk of game two as well. We've been moving the ball well, reading screens well, not putting ourselves into difficult positions. We had probably a 10-minute blip in game one, and I think we corrected it heading into Saturday's match. There's a lot going on, a lot of growing going on with our team. So, for example, Jim and Patrick probably haven't played huge minutes in the past, and they really stepped up the second half of last year, and they continue to step up so far this year. Darren Douglas and Kevin Gill did a good job holding down a 2 spot. Clarence McLean played as good a 2-game stretch as he's played since he's been here, and Drew, had a nice start to the season. So, when you get to 6, 7, 8 deep, which I think we went, we had positive contributions from everybody. When I start to think about how I feel about the team moving forward, my first thought is I hope the guys are watching this, because, playing at home is a little different than playing on the road. And so certainly, we've kind of proven to each other, well, the stuff we're doing can work. The next step I think we need to take is to demonstrate that we're going to do those things consistently, that we'll do them under duress, in a hostile environment, etc. Going in to play Guilford, they really know how to win. They don't beat themselves. They're a very solid team. And so, you have to be smart and focused for 40 minutes, not for 38 or 30 or 25. And that in itself is challenging. It's not an easy thing to do. But I think we're up to the challenge. We have some injuries coming out of the tournament. Blake Craner, who had a good preseason, is out with a strained foot, and we don't know when he'll be back. Patrick O'Connor lost 3 teeth in the first 3 minutes of the second game, and we assume that he'll be available to us this Saturday. But basketball, it's a funny thing, because if you get playing time in games, basically something hurts from November to March. And I think our guys do a good job of determining the difference between hurt and being injured. I think we have a great training staff that will point that out and will never let them put themselves at risk. And so for Patrick, getting hit and having stitches in his lip and the teeth knocked out, okay, he's not going to do damage to himself if he plays. And so, it might hurt his team flirt title, but, in terms of on the court, I think he'll be fine. So, lots of guys are nicked up, and we just got to push on through it. I've said it twice that if I could put him in a game, I'd fire him today and give him a uniform right away. But he's a real addition. He's to the program, even as a coach. One of the things that's different is, for example, I let him plan practice. I've not been doing that in the past. I usually did that myself. I really give him a lot of leeway. He knows what we're trying to get accomplished. He knows the things we're going to face. He knows the conference and how we want to, get past these hurdles. So, I can say to JD, hey, look, where do you think we are? You plan practice today, move us forward. You know where we need to be on Friday. And he does a great job with it. Now, it's funny because when I gave him that assignment, he came back later and he said, wow, planning practice is stressful. Yeah, it is. It's a small piece of paper, but you want to get it right. And the fact that he said that is further indication that I should give him more responsibility, because it means that he's thinking about it and not going through the motions. So he's a tremendous asset on the bench, around the office, on the court with the guys, everywhere. I didn't know the team flirt. I have taken to calling Colin Murphy Big Mooch, because I had no idea about the the mooching. I am really surprised that Darren Douglas was not best dressed. I mean, you see him, you know, when we're getting ready to travel on the road, he's always sharp. So yeah, there's a lot of little nuggets I've taken from it.